Hello everybody, how is it going? So today, a bit of a different video, but I kind of just wanted to go through the new decks coming out in OP06 and kind of give you guys an idea, if you guys want to prepare for the future decks, what cards you should be looking out for. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The opening here is just Reiju, and I think this deck is kind of the least amount you'll have to prepare for, because pretty much everything you play is new. Outside of Queen and Kaya, you definitely don't need to play Queen, but the card is very strong. Obviously, you kind of have a built-in alternative in Yonji, who is the 4-drop blocker, but 4-drops are very vulnerable, and 5-drops are less vulnerable. And also, Queen is basically just a draw 3 in this deck, or it's a draw 2, right? Because you draw 2, discard 1, then you draw another. So it is a +1, which is really strong, but yeah, outside of that, Kaya. If you don't have Kaya, definitely grab Kaya. It's just, I think, the most synergistic 2K the deck has outside of its in-engine 2K being Sora. But yeah, just being able to fill up your graveyard. Obviously, it feels a little bit bad playing a 2K, but yeah, that's really the only, the main card I'd say you need to get to play Reiju. We can look at a deck list very quick. I just grabbed mine. I know the screenshot's a little bit bad. The bottom cards are just for the field spell, which are all new. But yeah, Khalifa, I am running a 1-of, same thing for Miss Double Finger. These are just 2Ks. They can kind of just be any 2Ks. Yeah, wouldn't worry about it too much. But all of the Germa 6/6 cards are from OP06. So if you're getting any amount of the set, you'll probably get a good amount of these. The only SR being the Judge. And you only really need 2 of them. I feel like the deck can honestly be played without any of them, but outside of that, oh, I'm sorry, Reiju is an SR. I'm a liar. My bad. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, deck is very accessible. And yeah, only really need guys. Moving on, we have Yamato. And Yamato, I feel like there's a lot of variations of this deck, and kind of the 2 I wanted to go over was the Monog Green version and kind of like the Sky Island Wano variant, both of which I think are very strong. Just kind of 2 different play styles. I do prefer the green one, but I'm not quite sure which one is better. I think it just depends how good 8-drop is into whatever matchup you're playing. It's a very, very polarizing card, but yeah, we can go over this list real quick. Actually, I think before we go over the list, we made some slides, but yeah, the green variant is mainly comprised of Don Quixote Pirates and the Supernovas. 8-drop Kid is very expensive right now, so if you don't previously have 8-drop Kids from maybe the start of the game or whenever you wanted to play green, they're like $40 right now, which I feel like is crazy, so maybe hold off on picking them up unless you're really dead set on playing this variant or other green decks with 8-drop Kid, because we'll just hope for more printing of OP01. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but yeah, 8-drop is a lot. 10 Dofi isn't. A 10 Dofi, I think the normal SR is like $5, $6, so if you don't have those, you can definitely pick them up. And if you already have all of your green cards, your green enjoyer, you are set. Don't even worry about it. But moving on, we can check out the Sky Island and the Wano cards. I feel like most of these, again, if you have any amount of OP05, you should have all the Sky Island stuff you'll need. But one card that is kind of fluent between both the Monog Green version and the Sky Island Wano version is Izo. Izo is just very synergistic with the deck. It's a 2K counter, lets you tap a 4 or less, which are a lot of good blockers are 4 or less. And with leader effect, you can just give Izo 2 Dawn and 5k attack. Not that bad, but yeah. Probably I think just is the best 2k in the deck, so if you don't have Izos, get Izos. But we can check out the deck list real quick in case you're curious about the details. This is kind of the Mono Green version. Definitely a lot of, most of the old Supernova cards, Bonnie, Apu, 8-Kid, Killer, just the staple good ones, Punk, Gibson. And with the Don Quixotes, it's Baby Fives, the 2K counter, and the Searcher, Rosinante, 10 Dofi, and Monet. Monet is actually really, really good. If you don't know what Monet does, I'm gonna go over it because I think this card is nuts in this deck. But It's pretty much a 3-drop 1k blocker, which, I mean, yeah, stats are okay, but you can play her off kid, so I mean, that's all good. And pretty much when you block with her, she taps a 4 or less, so it's kind of like you put up some defense and it gives you some offense, and, you know, letting you rest, say, like a Borsalino, and then being able to attack their leader next turn. Just a really strong card. Also, do play the 0-cost event, which just works well when you're playing a whole bunch of top end, because we are playing Hodi, who is a new card, so I mean, you don't have to worry about that till the set comes out. And the only yellow card is Onami, which again is a new card, so yeah, that's pretty much the Monog Green version. And the Sky Island and / Wano version is pretty much all the yellow cards. The Sky Island cards are just rares, so they're going to be pretty cheap. You don't even need to play an L. Honestly, I don't really even love an L in this variant, but I was playing a list with an L, so it's okay. Once again, Izo in both lists. Izo, good card. If you don't have, grab Izo. The Wano stuff is new. Amaru isn't just a rare, so again, don't worry about it. And the 0-cost yellow event, which is a mouthful, and I honestly don't know the whole name, but also a new card. So yeah, those are the 2 lists. Honestly, I think this version it's definitely going to be cheaper to build, kind of just depending on how expensive Hiyori and Momo end up. I think Hiyori is definitely going to be more expensive than Momo. I don't think Hodi is going to be very expensive, so I mean, we'll see. Moving on, we got Gecko. Honestly, these cards are so expensive right now. It's pretty much Rebecca, Lucci, Kuzan, Borsalino, Great Eruption. All the just the good black cards that you see people playing in Sakazuki, you play in Gecko. And Borsalino and Kuzan, I do think, are still very pricey right now, which is unfortunate because they're kind of just like staples that I feel like every black deck going forward is going to play, unless they get power crept, which yeah. So I mean, if you're already playing Sakazuki this format and you want to try out Gecko, you're set on that department. I will give you that, but I feel like this deck, like outright, just getting all the cards for it is kind of expensive. But we can check out a deck list. In this version, playing 4 Borsalino, 3 Kuzan off the bat, you know, I feel like, I don't know what Borsalino's at right now, but I know he's not cheap. Rebecca and Lucci, I do believe, aren't too expensive right now, so they're definitely good staples you could pick up if you do plan on playing any black deck at all. There's a ban list coming up at some point, not until after Nationals though, so I mean, yeah. But if Rebecca is pretty cheap, and I think Lucci, I don't think either of them are too expensive, that picking them up doesn't sound like a bad idea. And the rest is mostly just new cards. Suru is from OP02, I think, and just a 2k counter, so I mean, I think also a common, so should be pretty inexpensive. The starter deck cards, yeah, if you don't have them, that's kind of a problem. The starter deck I still think is pretty expensive. Great Eruption including, I think Helmeppo is also starter deck, which is unfortunate. But yeah, black cards are just pretty expensive right now. But regardless, moving on, we have Perona, who also plays a lot of the same cards as Gecko, but a couple additions. You know, they do play the Don Quixote cards, so kind of an added engine there. So also they do play like Sabos, and I don't really think Gecko plays Sabos, so that is also something. I think you can play Sabo and Gecko, so we can tack that on. You can just not go off the list I have been testing, but yeah, we can check out a list for Perona. A good amount of green. I think this deck is really cool in that there's Don Quixote and like Navy cards like Corazon and Virgo, so they go pretty well together. Main cards again, 2 Kuzan, 4 Borsalino. You can mess with those ratios for Sabo. I don't know how expensive Sabo is right now, but hopefully not that expensive. X-Drake is kind of an outlier if you didn't get any OP01, you know. It's might be a card to pick up. I don't think he's very expensive, so there's that. Most of the Don Quixote engine is pretty inexpensive. It's just mainly, again, the black staples that are just annoying. But regardless, that is just a sample Perona list here. And moving on, I do think it's just, yeah, Hodi. Hodi is pretty much just all new green cards, with the exception of the 0-cost event and Hachan. yeah, this not a very large sample size for Hodi, so maybe there's some other list that could work. But here's just a sample deck list. I know Mihawk comes in ST12, I think, which is the next structure deck that comes out after Uta. You know, we obviously just got Uta, so that card could probably just be, check it out, Izo, just be for Izo. But the majority of these cards are just new cards, and I do believe that is all I have. But I do know that there is a 6 leader in this set being Uta, and honestly, there's kind of almost no sample size for Uta, so I don't even know what to tell you guys to look out for or pick up. I mean, film cards, off the top of my head, Ein, the 4-drop that ramps 1, will probably be played. Yeah, I mean, can't think of much else, honestly. I would have made slides for her if I could really tell you, but I'm not too sure. But for now, these are just kind of the card or the deck lists, and like decks that are coming out, just kind of what you can look out for, pick up on stuff if it's cheap right now and get for the future. But anyways, yeah, that's just gonna be the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.